Alright, so this game is called Knitbone. I don't know much about it. Apparently it's supposed to be about how this man went to go get therapy, but then it turned out that the therapist was far, far worse and needed it way more than he did. And I guess another fun fact is that Knitbone is a medicinal herb. I don't know its exact appliances, but you know, there you go. If you ever have any sort of illness, maybe consider Knitbone after proper investigation and research. Knitbone. Where did it all go wrong? Right. I shouldn't have had insomnia in the first place. You see, after a few days with no sleep and no direction, you get desperate. If I could turn back time... I couldn't stop myself from singing that one song. If I could turn back time... Oh no. I never would have stepped through that door. My footsteps felt too loud as I walked. The hallway smelled old and dusty, the carpet ugly and stained. My thumb kept brushing over the card in my pocket. 1408, just like the card said. That's the room I've been trying to track down. After a tour of what felt like the world's most depressing maze, I finally spotted the door. The little brass number on it looked shiny and new. It didn't fit with the rest of the dingy hallway. I stopped, my hand hovering in the air. I wasn't sure if I should knock. A part of me just wanted to turn around and leave. Right, I told myself I'd actually show up. As I got ready to knock, a memory popped into my head. Last night at the lounge, I revealed too much to someone who was practically a stranger. Seems like the ice in my glass had succumbed to the warmth. Looks just like my life. My name's Eden, a psychology major. Voted as most likely to succeed. Well, good for you, Eden. But that was years ago, when I had direction in my life. Now, I'm barely surviving on cheap coffee and no sleep. I changed 3 jobs in just 12 months. Every fresh start only left me more tangled in doubt. And yeah, I ended up even more lost. I don't even recognize who I am anymore. The door opened, but at first I hardly registered it. The vibe suddenly seemed to shift, as if someone flipped a switch. I couldn't help but look. A man walked in, with the sort of effortless confidence that drew everyone's eyes to him. He smiled at the bartender, waved at someone like they were old friends. Oh, this guy looks confident. So, he's that kind of guy, huh? He looked so put together, assertive and relaxed. And his shirt, that probably cost more than my rent, yet he wore it so casually. Everything about him was the opposite of me. He paused at the entrance, scanning the lounge like he was deciding where to sit. I should have looked away, but I didn't. And then he saw me, eyes widening as they locked onto mine. Oh, what's so funny? You got a staring problem, buddy? He smiled. That got me holding my breath. I forced a polite smile, despite my racing heart. There was something oddly familiar about him, but I couldn't figure it out. I heard footsteps approaching me slowly. Why is he standing right here? Hey? Hey there? Eden Cross? No way, is that really you? My confusion must have shown on my face because he chuckled. It's me, Ryohei Damien. Haha, sorry, you might not remember me. We had that psychology elective together, remember? Oh, it's you. That hit me. Ryohei. The Ryohei Damien. We were in the same department back in college. He was popular. He was effortlessly charming. The kind of guy who made everyone feel seen, even when he probably didn't know half of their names. I never expected to be on his radar. We shared a few lectures, maybe a group project once, but I was always the quiet one. I was the guy people tend to forget. But I remembered him. God damn. I think I remembered him more than I should. People wouldn't shut up about him. I've always been envious of him, even now. And yet, here he is, sitting across from me in this nearly empty lounge, grinning like we were old buddies. He even did it without asking, like it was the most natural thing. Of course I remember you. You're basically famous, Ryohei. It made him laugh. He didn't even try to deny it. You can just call me Ryo. I'm really glad we ran into each other again. Well, Eden, your name really does you justice. Looking splendid as always. Really? Why, thank you. I couldn't help but smile back. I'm not sure if I'm most amused by his outlandish teasing or by the fact that he remembered my name. I don't think lounging at a jazz club after an exhausting day is much of a splendid look, but thanks. You look like life's been treating you well. I leave out the as always. He laughs, but his eyes narrow in. I did notice you're tired though. I don't mean to offend. No, it's fine. I know I'm living dead. I laugh, trying to brush it off. Insomnia, that's all. I got used to it. What a shame. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't feel like a complete failure. Well, isn't that nice? We caught up and talked for a while. Something about his presence felt almost too welcoming. Made it easy for me to open up. It felt safe, or at least I convinced myself it was. After all, he was an old acquaintance, wasn't he? So like an idiot, I spilled everything. He listened intently. What a coincidence? He chuckles at the last word. Actually, I specialize in sleep therapy, as well as cognitive consultations. Maybe I'm not that strange for feeling like I'm meant to be here with him tonight. Maybe he feels it too. Would you pay me a visit? What? I want to see you. I mustered a smile, hoping he didn't notice my bewilderment. It'd be a private consultation. I've had my studio set up. It's okay, I've already visited doctors. I figured, but maybe I can do something about it. And if I can't, well, it's no wasted money. I'm offering it for free. Ooh, for free, you say? 0 pesos and 0 cents? I'd take that. Oh. It'll probably be in vain, but declining now that he seems so willing to help would make an even more pitiful sight. Before I could react, he produced a card between his fingers, like it had been waiting there all along. Oh, the thing where they just pull out a card like it's a magic trick? Come to my studio whenever you're ready. No pressure. The word studio echoed in my head, longer than it should have. And for some reason, I actually came. This was probably a bad idea. We hardly even know each other. Yeah, I think, well, I don't know. I think I went to a therapist like 3 times in general. But knowing each other like that, like outside of the therapy room, sounds like a very bad idea. Let me just do a quick save and turn around. I'm out of here. I decided to skip the consultation. I just didn't feel comfortable. But my insomnia worsened over time, leading me to withdraw from society. I heard Ryohei's consultancy has been growing and he's now dealing with a large number of patients. Perhaps I should have reached out to him after all. Like how the saying goes, nothing ventured, nothing gained. The end. Well, isn't that a satisfying end? Well, it isn't. It really isn't. So let's just do that again. Absolute cinema, thank you. The story of how this brave man didn't go to his therapy session. I finally knocked on the door. The door opened right away, as if he'd been standing there the whole time waiting for me. Interesting.
Hey.
Eden. He had a warm, practiced smile and said my name like he knew I would come. I had a feeling you'd arrive. Please, come in. I hesitated, but my feet started moving before I could even think about it. The smell was different inside. The scent of lemon oil and faint herbs filled the air. It felt a bit phony, like he was trying too hard to make it smell naturally relaxing. The studio was quite simple. Just a couch for me and a single fancy chair for him. My gaze drifted past a collection of arranged objects as Ryohei led me inside the studio. Soft jazz music played in the background. Please, have a seat. Make yourself at home. I sat on the couch. It was actually pretty cozy. Comfortable? I nodded. He sat on his big chair and watched me. So, Eden Cross. You know why you're here, is that right? He got straight to the point. Yeah. I guess so. So, tell me, what's on your mind? What brings you here tonight? My mouth went dry as I finally said the line I practiced. Last night, you mentioned you could help. You said you help people with sleep issues. I told him how I couldn't sleep and how I felt like I didn't know who I was when the lights went off. He listened without rushing. No interruption and no pity. Just that steady, practiced attention. Alright then. Starting with some questions. Do you have more trouble falling asleep or staying asleep? Both equally, I suppose? How many times a week do you suffer from this? I can't really remember. Maybe 5? He purses his lips. What would that be? Like a little lip bite? Okay. Are you taking any medications? None. I see. He pauses, weighing his words before going on. His expression turns serious, as if he knows something that I don't. Insomnia and identity crisis, that's a reasonable set to bring in together. Sleep and sense of self are closer than most people think. You're not sleeping because your mind refuses to let you be vulnerable. And that's why your mind won't shut down. That hit closer to home than I expected. It hit close to him and it actually hit close to me because I've always been able to identify kind of the issue with my sleeping problems where like I find it that I feel too vulnerable when I'm trying to fall asleep and it makes me anxious, something like that. And the smile crept back onto his face. Before we go any deeper, I have a simple personality test to help me understand the shape of this weight you're carrying. It requires a bit of trust, I know, but it would help me understand. I really think you should take it. Do you want to take the personality test? No, thank you. I don't think I'm ready yet. Is that so? Thank you for being honest with me. That in itself is a very important step. But you came to me for help, but you're saying no to the first step. What do you mean? He leaned forward, his voice low. Eden. Refusing only reveals what you're afraid of. It shows me exactly what you're afraid of. Oh. Thank you. You've given me quite a clear impression. Yeah. What the hell was that? What the hell was that? I skipped this personality test. I don't know why I did that. Why did I do that? So let's do it real quick, see what I got. Okay, Rio, let's do it. Good, don't worry. It's simple and not invasive, just answer honestly. Alright, rules are simple. Pick whatever feels most like you, don't overthink it, just go with your gut. First question. When you can't sleep, what do you usually do? Analyze random deep thoughts, replay past cringe interactions in my head, get up to be productive even if it's 2 AM, grab a snack, or adjust my bed. I definitely think I'm this one. Analyze random deep thoughts. Gotcha. Insomnia sounds exhausting. That must be rough. Moving on. How do you usually recharge after a long, stressful day? Read a book, journal, or cope with my feelings for a bit? Do something active or take decisive action to reset my energy? Shower, change into comfy clothes, then chill in a cozy spot? I think out of all of these, this one sounds more like me. It's actually what I did after my little outing on Wednesday last week. I see. How do you usually tell when someone's lying to you? When their story makes zero sense? I don't know, I just feel it. If they hesitate or act unsure of themselves, their body gives it away, like gestures, posture, or fidgeting. Well, for me in my case, I'm not really good with those kinds of cues, like body cues or voice, or being able to tell the intent on someone's voice. Usually it's when their story makes zero sense. I try to be very logical when it comes to that. Okay, next one. What motivates you the most? Figuring things out or understanding the world? Living in a way that feels authentic to me, proving I can do or achieve something? Feeling comfortable, safe, or in control physically? You know what? I like this one, proving I can do or achieve something. I feel like a lot of my big accomplishments is me kind of going through ego, saying like, oh, I know I can do this, I know I can do this, I just have to try really hard. Noted. Alright, time for a little roleplay. Imagine the following scenario. You're on a forest path and it splits 3 ways. What do? Look for clues to pick the smartest path, reflect and go with the path that feels right to me, pick one fast and move, no hesitation, test each path physically to see which is more safe and comfortable. You know, I think I would just go with the vibe. Nice. That's an interesting take. You hear a weird noise upstairs in an empty house. What is the first thing you'll do? Peek around and figure out what's going on? Pause and notice how it makes me feel? Run upstairs like a boss? Grab something nearby just to feel safer? Certainly this one. I see. Okay. Let's proceed. A strange creature suddenly appears and stares at you. How do you react? Run away. Well, isn't that some good timing? Smiley face. What's wrong? Did something catch you off guard? Well, would your reaction align with the choice you made earlier? It would. It would? I would just run away. Let's continue. No need to dwell on it. Okay, roleplay's over. Let's get back to the test. Which compliment do you like the most? You're so sharp and smart. You're authentic and honest. You're brave and bold. You seem steady and chill. That's a good question. What do I like most? Because sometimes I can be the kind of person that is, well, I wouldn't say humble, but it's like someone compliments me, I'm like, no, nothing like that. Which may seem dismissive, but I don't mean it in that sense. Which compliment would I like the most? I guess steady and chill. I like when people consider me funny. That's also a thing I like, but it's not here among the options. So I guess I'd like to be considered steady and chill. How about you guys? What compliment would make you happy? We're nearing the end. Which word resonates with you the most? Balance, flame, pulse, luminous. I think flame. I like fire. For legal reasons, I just like it. One final question. Which word resonates with you the most? Logic. Congratulations, you've completed the questionnaire. I'll review and present your results now. It seems like you are physics first. You trust what's real, the solid things such as routines, touch, and breath. You're good at keeping yourself steady when the world tilts, and that steadiness spills over to the people around you. But there's a cost, isn't there? You wonder if it makes you small, that people will think you're clinging to little comforts, too simple to handle the big picture. Thanks for that. I learned a lot about you today. I've actually wanted to be closer to you since college, and it means a lot to finally be here with you now. Shall we move on? Remember, this is all just for fun. Don't take the results too seriously. I will take it as gospel, thank you. His tone stayed gentle, though there was a weight behind it. Thank you. You've given me a quite clear impression. Yeah. What the hell was that? Oh, okay, so this just reaches a part we've already seen. Oh, perfect. Now I'm hallucinating in the middle of this therapy. Should I just chalk it up to sleep deprivation and call it a day? Well, I guess I'm already locked to this route, so let's keep going and see what happens. What should I do? What to do? I think I'll bring it up. Yes? Did you happen to see that? See what? Never mind. An awkward silence settles between us. Wait, and what happens if I load that? An awkward silence settles between us. Okay, it's about the same. His eyes flicked up to mine. What you've shown me earlier tells me enough, more than enough. Your sleepless nights? He paused. His gaze was piercing, studying me like I was some kind of specimen. Your insomnia isn't a mistake, it's a pattern. Your mind is stuck on a loop. Regular therapy won't work for you. What your mind needs is a key to redistribute the weight. What I want to propose isn't therapy at all. Think of it more as a sort of guided ritual. Ritual? I don't know. I feel like, aren't they both therapy students or psychology majors? Part of me thinks Eden would be able to recognize some of these practices, but maybe not. And that's an interesting choice of word. I will give you small, specific tasks to complete. They'll require precision and focus. The goal is to give the burden a new place to rest so that your mind can finally find peace. It's an unconventional path and it requires absolute trust. Not just in me, but in yourself. It was quiet for a moment and stared at me. I can't force you to do it. This only works if you choose it. You can leave now, but that means going back to your restless routine. Or you can agree to session 2. That's where we really begin. That felt like a challenge. So, Eden, what do you think? Proceed with session 2? Why, yes. Why no? Ryohei inclined his head slightly. Surprisingly, there was no hint of disappointment. I understand. I'm sorry, Ryo. It's okay. You can take your time. The offer still stands. If you change your mind. Here, you can keep my number. Don't hesitate to reach out, even if you just need to talk. I'm sure that your sleepless nights will bring you right back to me. Well, that's ominous. The end. Absolute Cinema Part 2. Let me just do that again. Did I just save over it? Oh, I'm stupid. Oh, well, you can tell that I'm not really experienced with these. Let me just go back to where we were. Ritual. Very scary, ominous ritual. Session 2. Yeah, I'm down for that. I can do a session or two. Good. Ryohei's smile deepened as if the answer had been inevitable. Hold on a sec. He stood and began rummaging through the shelves, his movements smooth and deliberate. Suddenly the air went still, lingering thick with every breath. The faint, pleasant scent of lemon oil and herbs felt even more synthetic, like cheap air freshener. When he returned, he was holding a small, ornate box. Then let's begin session 2. What the? I thought we were going to schedule it at a later time. His voice was lower now, a smooth, deep sound that silenced the room. The feeling of being in a safe place was starting to fade. Oh, that's not good. He moved to the table and sat directly across from me. A subtle shift that made him the focal point of the entire room. Before we begin the exercise, I want to ask you something, Eden. What is your opinion on devotion? Devotion? To what? The question was so left field that I could only blink. To anything, whether it's a person, an idea, a god. I hesitated. It felt like a trick question. My opinion on devotion is... Well, I think it's a form of trust. See, I slightly think both of these, but in different extremes. But generally, I think it's a form of trust. I guess it's a form of absolute trust. Devotion is like an anchor, something to hold on to when you're lost. An anchor, yes. A worthy cause requiring unwavering trust. He looked satisfied, as if I'd given the correct answer. He paused, his expression shifting into something that looked unnervingly like a confession. I used to know people who were part of a group. They were devoted to a singular idea. They believed that to truly change, to become more than what they were, they had to give up a part of themselves. My skepticism must have been obvious. This had nothing to do with insomnia. Yeah, what is he talking about? This was about something else entirely. They thought of it as reaching a new level. To an outsider, their methods might have seemed extreme, maybe even cruel. He continued, his eyes searching mine, gauging my reaction. But that's what they believed. They believed true enlightenment required total devotion, and that you couldn't become whole until a part of you was given away. I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. Everything he said sounded like cult nonsense, and he seemed completely convinced himself. Uh-huh. My apologies, I didn't mean to bring that up. He waved a hand dismissively, the philosophical conversation ending as abruptly as it began. Now, let's move on. He opened the velvet-lined box. Inside, nestled in black satin, were 6 unlit candles of varying heights. Let's play a game, Eden. This is a focusing exercise. He lit the candles and set them on the table in a chaotic line. Whoa, how chaotic. The objective is simple. Arrange these candles from shortest to tallest and left to right. Oh, that sounds easy. Without thinking, I reached for the nearest one. His hand shot out. Not touching me, but hovering just above it. Nuh-uh. There are rules. His tone was now flat, sharp, and cold. Discipline is paramount. You have exactly 5 moves. A move is the swapping of any candles. Oh, sorry. Exceed 5 and the pattern is irrevocably broken. Do you understand? Are the rules of the candle game clear? What if I say no? Is he gonna hit me with the... Is he fucking stupid? Let's play a tutorial with 4 candles and 3 moves. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Nice.
Good job. You beat the tutorial. Are the rules of the candle game clear? Nope.
Nice.
Good job. Oh, okay. So it's like generated differently every single time. I nodded, my mouth suddenly dry. I looked at the candles. Oh, golly. Don't mind me, I'm doing some boy math.
Nice.
Great job. I believe you're ready for the next challenge. Did I really do it? I feel like I kind of messed up there. I believe you're ready for the next challenge. Do you think you can sort 7 candles with 5 moves? Am I up to the challenge? Of course we are. Let's do it. Good luck. I did it. A perfect ascending line, all in less than 5 moves. Ryohei was smiling. That's kind of a creepy smile. He kind of has cat eyes. Now that I'm looking at him properly, he does have like slightly cat eyes. You see that? It wasn't his usual practice smile. This was wide, genuine, and utterly terrifying. Nice. He whispered the word, savoring it like a fine wine. I like you. You're sharp. You act without hesitation and you're decisive. That's exactly why I need you. Ryo? What do you mean? Okay. That is fine. I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job controlling myself because these jump scares are getting me. But like, I just kind of freeze in place and let it happen. That is all for now. You've demonstrated remarkable potential. You should prepare yourself for our next session. You mean session number 2? My hallucinations were getting worse, and being in this room wasn't helping. Was this all in my head, or... You did very well, Eden. I assumed you're ready for what's next. Pass or fail, it seems that I was being dragged into the next session regardless. I just nodded, too tired to argue. Fine. What's next? I have a simple question. Tell me, Eden. Are you easily frightened? Yes, actually. The question was unsettling. He leaned forward slightly with his eyes fixed on me. Let me just do a quick save. No, not really. Not really. I can handle myself. I love your confidence. We'll see how it goes. He fell silent, letting the tension build. His gaze drifted to a dark corner of the room behind me. Don't look now, but I think someone is watching us. My blood ran cold. Against my better judgment, my eyes darted to the corner. There was nothing there. Oh, you silly little Eden. What is with all these silly little people in my horror games? They're all so silly with the pranks and everything. Silly little guys. There was nothing there. Ryohei chuckled, a low, unnerving sound. Relax, I'm just testing your focus. Okay, let me see what happens if I say yes. I guess so, more than I'd like to admit. Okay. Oh no. So even when he knows I get easily scared, he tries to make me uncomfortable. That's a big no-no for a therapist, right? I think that's a big no-no. There was nothing there. Ryohei chuckled, a low, unnerving sound. Relax, I'm just testing your focus. Were you expecting something? Yeah, I was expecting you to be a good therapist. What the fuck? Sometimes I wonder what's wrong with this guy. He then pointed to a small potted herb on his desk. It was the only living thing in the room. Let's try a different approach. What do you see here? I see comfrey. Isn't that a knitbone? I was actually looking in Google pictures of it because of this game. I think it is a knitbone. I recognized the broad, hairy leaves instantly. Oh, that's a comfrey. For the first time since I arrived, my expression softened. Seeing something familiar from my childhood stirred up feelings that I thought long buried. My grandma used to call it by its old name, knitbone. Oh, okay, so it's basically the same thing. Ryohei seemed surprised by my sudden shift in mood, though he masked it with a smile. Knitbone, an interesting name. She said it could heal broken bones. But some breaks aren't in the bone, are they, Eden? I stayed quiet, letting his words settle in the air between us. Well, some breaks are deeper, and no herb can fix them. The irony is, in the past, people thought comfrey, or knitbone, was safe to use in any way, inside and out. But studies have shown that ingesting it can be toxic. He was talking about the plant, but his eyes told me he meant something else. His expression soured, his voice taking on a bitter, sharp edge. Listen, Eden. There are people obsessed with cures like that. He looked past me, his eyes unfocused, lost in a memory. Just like you. They were also searching for ways to heal themselves, mentally or physically. When they're desperate enough, they find a community that promises something more than just a fix. Their philosophy was simple, at least on the surface. Why is he bending? Why is my therapist bending? To become enlightened, you have to give something away. They called it an offering to some cosmic entity. He let out a short, harsh laugh that held no mirth. But offering was just a pretty word for ritualized murder. How did we go on this tangent? What were we talking about? We were talking about plants. What? They had this twisted logic. They believed pain was a currency, that you could only heal your own wound by taking on another's life. Why is he telling me this? His voice cracked. The mask of the calm therapist completely gone, replaced by a raw, burning anger. They would make you believe that ending someone's life wasn't wrong. It was kindness. They said you weren't a killer, you were an angel, taking their pain away so they could finally rest. And their death. That was supposed to be your reward, your new weight to carry. It was all a lie to control you, a lie to break you down and own the pieces. The therapist I came to see was gone. In his place was just a man, terrified of his own hands. Every word he spoke was coming at me too fast. I couldn't process it all. He stood abruptly, his chair scraping back. The outburst was so sudden, so violent that it made me flinch. But I saw it for what it was. I ended that bullshit, so I took on the burden for myself. He stared at his own trembling hands, a flicker of something, desperation in his eyes. It's supposed to be over, but it doesn't just disappear. He stood there, breathing heavily, hands molded into fists so tight his knuckles turned bone white. I started to realize he was talking about his past. Oh god, he's venting. Wait, was he in a cult? This guy wasn't just troubled, he was haunted. And for a second I forgot to be scared and just felt a weird pang of pity. Let's do a quick save. Hey buddy, you okay? You want us to take turns and I be the therapist this time around? Ryo? Are you okay? He sank back into his chair, visibly forcing himself to be calm. I apologize. That was unprofessional. Anyways, all of that was just an attempt to open your mind. Looks like it's ready, so let's use it. He opened a drawer and started rummaging it. I just stood there, frozen. How did his mood shift so quickly? Let me just do a quick check on what happens if I stay quiet. You bite your tongue, unsure if speaking would make things worse. He sank back into his chair. Oh, okay, yeah, basically the same. I'd rather have the other answer then. Suddenly, his words from our first session about a guided ritual took on a much darker meaning. A cold dread was washed over me. What if this isn't therapy? He's not even trying to fix my insomnia. I just realized that's why we came here in the first place. What the hell are we even doing here? Instead, he's trying to do something else with me as his test subject.
Oh.
I found it. He then took out a pendulum, a pointed crystal on a silver chain. Get out. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. This is like certified textbook evil person things, you know? You even doesn't Hypno do that with the pendulum? He just swings it back and forth and hypnotizes you. It looked less like a therapist's tool and more like a ritual object. He stepped closer to me. Doubt wrapped around my mind like chains, choking me with every thought. What is he going to do with me? Ryohei edged closer behind me, the heat of his body pressing against mine. Oh my. Panic surged and I realized I was trapped. My hands shook violent. My pulse raising and a deep primal fear screamed at me to turn back. But even knowing that, I couldn't make myself move away. As he moved closer to my ear, his composure slipped for a fraction of a second. Shh. It's okay, Eden. It's okay, Eden. Then his eyes cleared and he smiled at me, his focus absolute. What the f- We shouldn't allow this to happen, by the way. Never let that happen. I'd say there's probably about 2% of people in the entire world that can actually pull this off. But, you know, if someone is swinging a pendulum in front of your face, you slap that thing out of their hands, okay? You slap that thing out of your hand, out of their hands. It's kind of one of those things that even if they can't do it, you don't want to run the risk. Because who knows what kind of crazy things happen when you're hypnotized. Apparently it's supposed to be more like suggestions. So you would never do something that you really don't want to do. So you can't hypnotize someone to, you know, put their hand in a stove, for example. They won't do it. They won't do it. What if you suggest them to sleep or you suggest them to be more extroverted, stuff like that? It could work. Again, this is just loose internet knowledge. Don't take me as wiki or facts. Or actually take me as wiki because wikis are also very unreliable. This will help quiet the noise in your head. Just watch the crystal and listen to my voice. You got that, guys? Listen to my voice. Can you do that for me? Let's continue. What if I say yes? I can do that. Good. Breathe in. And out. Match my breathing. I'm a little bad at this. My breathing faltered. The steady pattern I'd rely on slipped away. I found myself breathing in sync with him. It felt strangely intimate, as if we were sharing the same air. Oh my goodness. Whew. Now, watch. The world vanished in an instant. Everything else disappeared, leaving only the pendulum swinging before my eyes. You're so tired, Eden. Oh, it's finally happening. You're feeling sleepy. You do, yeah. How are you, Puente? I'm doing good. Oh, let me just hit the snooze on the ad for just a little bit. Since it's October, I decided to do something a little different than usual, and I was playing some visual novel horror games. Right now they're doing a game jam, so there's a whole bunch of horror games that are free that you can play. I'm not sure if you're into horror yourself, Foxy. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun. I was playing one that seemed a very educational game like, and then it got a horror twist, and now I'm playing this one about insomnia and crazy therapist people. It's been a nice experience. Oh, I'm deep in that domain, sire. Nice, nice. You doing Spooktober? Exactly. Wait. Oh, you mean the artist Spooktober? Or wait. I'm a little stupid. No, but yeah, I'm basically doing spooky games. Spooky game October. Spook. You should check out the games I suggested before you end stream. I'll try to do so. We're cutting it close on my time frame, so hopefully I can, but I can't promise. No, Spooktober as in spooky games all month. Oh, well, I do want to, but there's also other games I want to play. But for most of the month, I definitely want to play spooky games. If you have any recommendations yourself, Foxy, you can let me know. I already got 3 right now from Bgop in chat, so I'm looking forward to checking those out as well. You must mostly play spooky games. That is the plan. It's required. It is required. I think the only thing that makes it a little less spooky is the fact that it's daytime, but it's okay. Massage? All day, every day. All day, every day. Oh my god. But what if I want to have food? Am I supposed to watch horror games while I eat? I actually would do that. That is something I would do. Thing is, I actually get grossed out pretty easily while eating, so I tend to avoid it. If it's psychological horror like this, no problem. But if it's something a little bit more gory, I'll probably have to click away. Massage. I think I've heard of that one as well. I have to note it down in my little notepad. Thank you. No, wait. I shouldn't have. He looked genuinely terrified, as if he'd revealed a secret he could never take back. But his panic lasted only a moment. As I reached out for the door, his expression hardened into something desperate and resolute. He moved faster than I thought possible, blocking my path. Wait. His voice cut sharp, cutting through my daze. He grabbed my arm. Without consent, by the way. His grip surprisingly strong, almost bruising. I turned back. The calm facade was gone, shattered completely. In its place was raw, unfiltered desperation. You can't leave? Not now. You saw it too. Don't you understand what that means? That thing. He pulled me back from the door, his eyes wide and wild. He wasn't asking me. He was pleading with me. He guided me back to the couch and pushed me down gently. A strange, reverent care in his otherwise forceful action. Hey. What the hell, Ryo? He ignored my question. He moved to the table and with a click lit a match and then lit the candles. As the flames grew, the room transformed. It was no longer a studio, it was an altar. And I was the offering, what the fuck? He sat down across from me again, the firelight carving deep shadows into his face. He looked older, burdened by a weight beyond my comprehension. What you saw is not just a thing, it has a name, a purpose. It's my debt, passed down through generations in my family, all under the guise of enlightenment. My uncle, Callister, he was the leader. He called their belief system transcendology. The way he said the word was thick with disgust. He groomed me, not as a nephew, but as a successor. He saw the entity as an honor, a sacred burden. He taught that our bodies were temporary vessels, needing purification through bloodletting to achieve a higher existence. He made it sound so beautiful, the art of ritual. But I saw what it really was, a machine for offerings. He wasn't enlightening people, he was grooming them for slaughter in order to keep the entity fed. I couldn't let him pass it on. I couldn't let him choose another victim, so I took it from him. The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by the crackle of the candle wicks. What do you mean? Yeah, elaborate. I killed him, Eden. I killed him. I plunged his own ritual knife into his chest. I thought if the leader was gone, the curse would die with him. But I was wrong. It didn't die. It just transferred. It latched onto me. I just heard it say, "Feed me more blood." And I am a blood haver. I'm scared for my life here. Now I carry it. I hear its whispers. I feel its hunger. He buried his face in his hands, his shoulders trembling. This was it. The full horrifying truth, the core of his madness. He looked up, and his eyes were glistening with unshed tears. But beneath the pain, there was something else. A chilling, obsessive focus, and it was directed at me. And that's why I needed you, Eden. I have been watching you. Even back in college. What? You were always so quiet, so self-contained. While everyone else was so loud, so desperate to be seen, you were just there. You were whole. You were solid. I was falling apart piece by piece, and you were a fortress. I envied you for it. I hated you for it. And I admired you more than anyone else. I knew you were the one, strong enough to bear the weight, quiet enough for it to rest. He leaned forward, his voice dropping to an intimate, almost tender whisper. Wait, do you guys want me to whisper for this? The codependent plea of a man drowning. I was lucky to meet you again. I knew you were the only one worthy of this gift. Let me know if it actually turned out well. With how the filters come and go, it probably got cut out. If not, I can just read it again with the normal voice. The only one strong enough to see the truth. He slid off his chair and knelt on the floor in front of me. This wasn't a plea for help. This was the final step of his plan. He pulled a knife from his pocket. The handle had the same vein-like carvings I saw in my vision. He held it out to me on his open palms like it was a key. My breath caught in my throat. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my ears. This is insane. Completely insane. But looking at him kneeling there, offering me this purpose, another thought crept in. A horrible, tempting thought. He's not asking me to die. He's asking me to bleed for him, to become something else, to trade my blood for one filled with this terrible, powerful thing. What if he's not crazy? What if this is the cure for the nothingness I feel every day? This gift is meant to be passed on. You saw it. It saw you. It has chosen you to be my equal. Your trouble sleeping, feeling lost. That's not a sickness. It's just an opening, a crack to let the light in. I'm here to open the door all the way. Please, Eden. His voice was a low, convincing whisper, promising a strange and terrible secret. He was asking me to join him in his reality. Will you accept this honor? Will you complete the ritual and become the new vessel? Will you sacrifice your blood for me? The question hung in the air, suspended between the flames of the 7 candles. My heart hammered against my ribs. This was the final ritual, the final choice. What is my choice? Of course it's a no. It's a big fat no, thank you. A sacrifice? The sheer ridiculousness of it all was enough to make me die laughing. What the hell? Does he actually think I'm buying all this crap? This elaborate prank? I don't know if it's a prank. We've seen a lot of evidence, but I like where you're going with this, Eden. Ryohei sure did get me a couple of times there, especially with the hypnosis part. But it's time for him to drop the act. I wasn't going to be swayed by all of this cult talk any longer, even this was too much. I looked down at the knife in his palms with a twitch in my eye, then back to the crown of his head, bowed before me as he offered the weapon. Did he really have to go this far? No. The silence that followed was almost laughable. no. Ryohei stayed unmoving.
No.
No. I managed to choke out a laugh. What the hell, Ryo? What are you even talking about? This is crazy and you know it. What is? His voice had gone cold. Like, for some reason I felt myself sweating. My heart rattling faster. Do you even know what you're asking? You're asking me to offer my blood for you. What's wrong with that? I looked at him in horror. Everything, Ryohei, everything. Was he mentally unwell? I mean, fuck. Is the sky blue? Wait, did he actually believe that by offering him my blood, he'd be free from this cult curse or whatever he said? Hey, do you actually believe in all this crap? This crap you keep telling me? The cult, the curse, everything, do you actually think it's real? A pause fills the room, then Ryohei speaks. You don't? You don't? On impulse, I bark out a short ha. Ha! A sound of ridicule, of mockery, of belittlement, of superiority. He must be having the high of his life, mocking this guy. Oh, Ryohei, how far have you fallen? Resorting to these sorts of trickery, and for what? I may not be in the best spot right now, but at least my mind's still intact. But Ryohei, he's genuinely lost it. He isn't the person I admired back in college. He's downgraded into this shell of insanity. And I don't think I can save him. I don't think anyone can, not even a blood sacrifice.
Hey.
Ryohei, I said in the gentlest voice I could manage. I'm sorry. I'm not doing this. Get up from the ground, please. Let's talk this out. My response drew nothing from Ryohei. He stayed still like a pretty porcelain doll, as if forever carved in this pose of grievance. Then I heard a small murmur. If you won't carry it, you'll feed it. What? I blinked and suddenly we were face to face, me staring up at his ashy pupils as he towered over me. Oh no! Our bodies were uncomfortably close. My head raced, wondering how he had managed to get up and seize me in just the blink of an eye. The confusion muddled my brain, the adrenaline pumping through my veins so fast that I hadn't even noticed that Ryohei's fist was hovering over my chest. Gripping the knife's handle that was plunged in my heart. I looked down at it, dazed. What? It must be a fake knife. The one that retracts the more you push it in. But it doesn't look like it retracted. My sweater is pressed down where the knife's silver blade has pushed, and bits of red have started to bloom from the spot. Slowly, I started to feel the pain. Oh no. In nausea and shock, I fell to my knees, unblinking. What? What? I cough, and I feel warm, sticky liquid come out of my throat, pooling out of my mouth like a murky tap. Did he actually stab me? I'm sorry. I hear Ryohei's voice from above, distant and echoing like he was speaking in an empty chapel. The sounds bouncing off the hollowed halls. I feel his hand press softly against the back of my hair, pressing the side of my face against his leg. His sick version of repentance, of confession. His warmth seeps into me as my life ebbs out. I'm sorry, Eden. He repeats my name, and he sounds human. A good sound to hear for once. Humanity. Ryohei is human. Always has been. I just didn't want to see that. He had always been a god to me. So much that I refused to acknowledge that he ever struggled. That must have followed me until now. He bared his heart to me, but instead of seeing the real him for once, I took it as an opportunity to finally feel better than him. That's exactly what you did, actually. How pathetic of me. And now, I pay my price. As I go limp, I feel his hands catch me, setting me gently against the cold floor. Even in my death, he treats me kindly. I feel my blood seep into the ritual circle, as if the curse is hungrily licking up the offering I have provided. I'm sorry, Eden. He repeats it again and again, his hands over my corpse. I truly didn't want to do this. I really thought you were different. Ever since we met back then in college, I thought you saw through my facade, that you knew the grief I was hiding, that you could understand me, that you could understand who I really was, that you could accept it. He choked out, pressing his forehead against my bleeding heart. But I was wrong. I can't trust anyone. I can't show anybody who I truly am. This is my burden to bear. Forever. I am the vessel. No one else. Ryohei is left kneeling over my corpse. As shadowing veins crawl and dance throughout the room, rejoicing in Ryohei's inevitable surrender. No one else can be. The end. Anyways. Oh. There you go. So I guess this time I can accept it, see what happens. What? I peered down at the knife in his hands, presented to me like a trophy. Like it's something to be revered. Like I was something to be revered. As long as I took that knife from him. Ryohei. What the hell are you doing? Get up! But Ryohei doesn't move. The knife lays in his palms, glinting in the simmering candlelight. Slowly, I reach out, unable to stop my hand from shaking as our skin brushes against each other. The handle making its way inside my loose grip. I turn the knife upside and down, my heavy heart sinking into my stomach. No, this isn't right. Ryohei isn't in the right mind. Neither am I. This is messed up. Ryo, I can't. What? He's still kneeling, but his glare had shot up towards me, oozing such volumes of disgust that it made me take a step back. How could someone on his knees be so full of authority still? What did you say? He sounded otherworldly, less a voice, more an entity. The words twisted in my throat. Panic seized me, fear freezing in my blood, and for a split second I almost shifted the blade towards the flesh of my palm, ready to slice. But I snap out of it. I hold the knife away from my body, putting it back into Ryohei's outstretched hands. No, I won't. No. I won't do it, Ryohei. Silence fills the room. His expression is unexplainable. An amalgamation of surprise, horror, and fury. Piping hot fury, which traveled from his pinpoint pupils down to the goosebumps in the back of his hands. Is he going to attack me again? Well, yes he is. Then he moved. Faster than I could have stopped him. Before I knew it, his hand was gripped around my neck, the other pushing the knife against my hand. Take it. Take it! The room trembled beneath his cries. Ah, damn it. I gasped, clawing to release myself from this grip before driving a knee into his stomach. He's caught off guard quick enough to drop me, but the knife was still in his hands. As I tried to step sidewards, he lurched me back by my wrist, gripping tight enough to snap bone. Eden! As an overwhelming will to survive took over me, and I shoved with all of my might against his towering figure. He barreled backwards into the table, knocking chairs and vases over as he fell with a loud thud. For a minute, all that occupied the room was the sound of both our labored breathing, each breath feeling like my last. And then I saw the pool of red. It started from the right side of his chest, crawling forth from the fabric of his gray shirt. The handle of the ritual knife sunk deep inside him, serving as the stem for the scarlet flower blooming from his flesh. His dazed eyes trailed down his chest, hands lifting slowly to hover above the unfamiliar scene. Ha! He gurgled, a grin spreading across his perfect mouth. Ryohei! As if on instinct, I slid to the floor to hold his body up. His head tilted limply against my own hammering heartbeat as his own heart started to crawl to a stop. No, I didn't mean to. Shh. It's okay. It was an accident. Around us, the candles fell into a dim glow until a cold chill snuffed their light completely. I looked up to see veins of black and red chunks start to pour thinly from the walls, slithering like the snakes towards the floor and towards me. I reeled back, holding Ryohei closer as I tried to pull him away from the vines, as if it could stop the blood pooling from his chest. Eden. When I looked down at him, tears were already building in his ash-colored eyes. This is good. I failed to keep my voice from cracking, from my own tears climbing up my throat. Nothing about this is good. You carry it now. The vessel. His hands rose up to press against my hammering heart. It's yours now. It's you. It's part of you. Ryohei. But I didn't want it to end this way. Ryohei choked out, and in the bleary reflection of his tears, I saw the person he had always been behind all the facades and perfect grins. All the popularity and the wonder. I saw a small, frightened little boy. I don't want to die, Eden. You're not going to die, Ryo. I'll call the ambulance and... Carry it, Eden. His eyes flickered like a troubled candle. You are one. And then, Ryohei Damien drew his last breath. Without his presence, the chill in the room hiked up to a horrible cold. I held his lifeless body against his own, only realizing the weight of his words when it had been too late. The vessel. The veins had troubled up my legs, coiling around my skin in their grasp, urging the beginning of our symbiotic relationship. I feel everything and nothing all at once. Not even the veins burying themselves into my pores, hijacking the red lines of my eyes, the valves of my heart that no longer belong to just me. And then I draw a frozen breath. I am the vessel now. The end. That was Knitbone. What a game. That was pretty good. That was really good. I think when it comes to horror visual novels, I really enjoy the ones that are just one person and another person just holding dialogue, because it feels like it can genuinely carry it pretty well, the conversation. And it really immerses me, and this one really did immerse me. The sound design was pretty good. The music was really good as well. I think that means we've seen pretty much everything. What do you guys think? I liked it. I definitely wish I didn't skip the personality test on my first run through. That was good.